What's up, you guys? Welcome back. If you're anything like me, when Avengers first came out, you wondered just how they would explain and make room for all the new heroes they plan to bring to the game. If you aren't like me, stay tuned anyway, because you're using the intelligence files that can be collected in-game. I've discovered why Hawkeye wasn't at A-Day and how he feels about how things went down afterwards. Spoiler warning, if you haven't finished the main campaign or the subsequent operations, there will be info here that ties together story points you may not get or you may not want spoiled for you. So, you may want to get that done and save this video for later. If you learn anything about the Marvel's Avengers gameverse, be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. They are awesome free ways you can support the channel. Unless merch is more your thing, then you can find a link to that in the description below. Winky face. With that said, let's dive in. With the release of Operation Taking Aim and Operation Future Imperfect, we learned that the Hawkeyes, Kate Bishop and Clint Barton, have been working with Nick Fury to subvert AIM following leads surrounding the Tachyon project. During that time, Kate loses track of Hawkeye as he's captured by AIM. With the help of the Avengers, we learn Clint has decided to help Scientist Supreme as a part of his plan to find Nick Fury and stop the coming threat from space. That leads us into Operation Future Imperfect, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Where was Hawkeye before, during, and in the aftermath of A-Day? Why wasn't he with the Avengers? Well, in a new section of intelligence files aptly named Clint Barton, we get those answers. The first two files are recruiting messages describing Clint's abilities and background, including the death of his parents and a connection to his mentor, a villain known as the Swordsman. Then we get an email from Tony Stark to Nick Fury talking about how he plans to poach Hawkeye for the Avengers. Barton never actually leaves S.H.I.E.L.D., but is called upon to run missions as an Avenger quite often and is granted membership. In the next file, we see some connections made with the Avengers closer to the current timeline. Clint offers relationship advice to Bruce Banner regarding his first date with now Scientist Supreme, Monica Rappaccini, all while dating none other than Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, who at one point during the message holds a gun to his head. The most notable thing for me here is how Clint reminds Bruce to remember she's a human and not a lab project. Bruce says something similar to Monica during the campaign.
Everything's just an experiment with you, isn't it? It is. Tarleton and humans. Me.
This is a great tie-in to the story, and I'm looking for more cool bits like this in the future. Next, as the Avengers prep for A-Day, we get Clint giving the biggest vouch someone can give anybody by giving a full recommendation for Kate Bishop to become a part of the Avengers, and shows us just how long Hawkeye planned to give up his codename and retire. Fast forward to the government hearings where Bruce's guilt over the events of A-Day get the best of him, and he says the Avengers are a threat and should be disbanded. Clint sends a strongly worded but politely read email to Bruce about his feelings over the congressional hearings and not being invited to them, especially since it concerns him and his position on the team. This email serves to show he has no hard feelings towards Bruce and introduces us to everyone's new favorite addition to the game, Lucky the dog. The previous files show us that Hawkeye wasn't present for these events, but we already kinda knew that. The next file I pulled from Kate Bishop's audio file set because it gives insight to where they were. At least in part. The letter is a diary message to herself where Kate chastises herself for not listening to Clint and going to A-Day with the other Avengers, but instead going on assignment for Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. Kate's own guilt for the events is put on display as she states how all those lives lost are weighing down the Avengers and slowly tearing them apart through the guilt of it all. She then remarks on how they haven't heard from any of the other Avengers or S.H.I.E.L.D. and that the world still needs help, so they might as well do it themselves. The final file, which I apparently lost the screenshot to, but thanks to Marvel's Avengers fandom site, link in the description below, I can share the text, and it goes into a letter of encouragement to Kate after Lucky gets into her birthday cake, gets sick, and goes to the vet. Besides a bit of backstory to Kate not really liking birthdays, we get our tie-in to the events preceding Operation Taking Aim, with Clint feeding some info to Kate regarding the whereabouts to Nick Fury. So where does that leave us? With a future imperfect. Old Man Hawkeye retired and the last Avenger standing after the Kree invasion. A message left to him by a missing Nick Fury, the man of infinite contingency plans.
I have a message for you, Avenger Clint.
To any surviving Avengers, should we lose the fight ahead of us, should everything be lost, then know this. The key to saving our future lies in the past.
One, weird. Two, that's it?
Did he know Clint would find this and seek to find a way to save the world? Or was it just a coincidence and Nick got lucky there was anyone to listen? Tell me your take in the comments below. This is one of my favorite parts to the story of this game. The way the team connects characters and events together in multiple mediums. It doesn't always have to be campaign-based, and to those that take the time to look, We can dive deeper into the hearts and minds of these heroes and realize they're people just like us, dealing with relationships and problems the same way we do. Guilt can take down even the mightiest of Avengers, but as they fight to rebuild and reconnect, this team overcomes and seeks to grow from those mistakes. And that is a lesson we can all apply in our own lives. If you want to know more about Bruce Banner and why Hulk is colored so oddly, or maybe how I knew AIM planned to steal vibranium from Wakanda before the trailer announcement, click the videos you see on your screen right now. Until the next time, guys, stay out of trouble, make good choices, and may the Force be with you. I'll see you guys in the next one.